Take out a sheet of paper and divide it into two columns. On one side, please write the word and part of speech. On the other side, please write the definition and any helpful examples. Please pause the video at any time if you feel that I am going too fast. The first word is status quo. Status quo is a noun and is a Latin phrase which refers to the existing state of affairs, especially regarding either social or political issues. For instance, the American Civil War was an internal revolution that ended with the destruction of the unfair status quo that permitted slavery. Next is contour. Contour is a noun referring to an outline, especially an outline that represents or traces the boundaries of the shape of something. For example, the map showed the jagged contour of the coastline. Dissociate. Dissociate is a verb referring to the action to disconnect or separate something. For example, the director has tried to dissociate himself from his earlier films that were considered box office flops. He didn't want to be associated with them, so he dissociated himself from those films. Digression. Digression is a noun referring to a temporary departure from the main subject in either a speech or some form of writing. For example, the elderly professor would sometimes make a digression and talk about his wife's flower beds instead of physics, something completely unrelated. Assertive. Assertive is an adjective describing one who has or shows a confident and forceful personality. For example, assertive people can sometimes be seen as overly aggressive or domineering, even if they don't mean to be. Speculative. Speculative is an adjective that describes anything that is marked by questioning, curiosity, or even uncertainty. For example, since the study failed to provide substantial evidence, we assumed his conclusions were highly speculative. Exemplify. Exemplify is a verb. It's the verb form of a past word, exemplification, which was the noun. Exemplify means to show or illustrate by example. For instance, when James chooses his assistant manager, he will select the employee who can most exemplify the core values of the company. Intimate. Intimate is an adjective describing anything that can be construed as private or personal. For example, in many cultures, kissing is considered to be an intimate gesture that should not occur in public. Resilient. Resilient is an adjective describing someone or even something that recovers quickly after a difficult setback or problem occurs in their life. For instance, brick houses are more resilient to wind damage than mobile homes. Baffle. Baffle is a verb which simply means to confuse. For instance, while the use of idioms can cause problems for native English speakers, they can completely baffle foreigners. Contemporary. Contemporary is an adjective describing that which is happening or beginning now, or just in recent times in general. Contemporary can also refer to anything that exists or happens in the same time period as something else, something that is being compared to a certain object or person or thing. For instance, as I search for my new home, I am looking for a contemporary property that was built in the last 5 years. Linguistic. Linguistic is an adjective used to describe the scientific study of language and its structure. For instance, his diverse knowledge of linguistics allowed him to decipher the language of some ancient text. Unprecedented. Unprecedented is an adjective referring and describing that which has never been done, or at least has never been known to have been done or occurred before something else. For example, the Queen's reign of 50 years is unprecedented because no monarch has ever been on the throne for so long. It hasn't happened before. Next is transcription. Transcription is a noun referring to any written or printed representation of something, usually something that was originally spoken or acted out, any type of event of that sort. For instance, since he was a nervous speaker, he heavily relied upon the transcription of his speech to keep his points clear and concise. And finally, prevailing. Prevailing is an adjective describing that which exists at a particular time or something that is current. For instance, many people believe that air pollution is a prevailing cause of Earth's extreme weather.